guys, this week we're going to be doing Mother's Day crafts. I'm gonna show you a super cool technique on how to make this tie-dye kind of watercolor paint without any paint at all. And lastly, I'll show you guys how to make a love or gratitude jar for your mom, filled with love notes, compliments, and memories to give to her on Mother's Day. Here's what you'll need for our first craft. A thick piece of paper. I'm using a thick cardstock, but if you have watercolor paper, that will be best. Anything that's thin will probably peel up or rip. Lots of different colors of washable markers. It's super important that these are washable or else this won't work. A permanent marker, a pencil and eraser to trace with, a cup of water, a paintbrush, and a rag or paper towel. First, I'll be showing you how to make this heart for Mother's Day, and then I'll show you how to make your colors tie-dye. The first step is to draw a heart in pencil. Next, we'll trace over this with our black Sharpie. If you go off the line like I did, that's okay, just erase it. That's why we did it in pencil first. Next, we're gonna draw all these squiggly lines to break the heart up into different pieces. I did mine in 10 pieces, but you can do however many you want. Now that I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces, I'm gonna outline all of my pencil in Sharpie. Now that my heart is in 10 different pieces, it's time to think of the words you want to put inside the heart. On a separate piece of paper, I'm going to write out adjectives or describing words that describe my mom. Since I have 10 spaces to fill, I'll write out 10 different words. My mom is brave, smart, kind, silly, she's beautiful, joyful, she's funny, loving, she's creative, and she's very caring. So I have my 10 words, I'm going to write one in each space. Now that our words are all written in, it's time for color! What we're gonna do with these markers is just draw a border around each piece of the heart. I start with my lightest colors first to avoid any smudging or bleeding. I'm gonna take my yellow and do a thick border around the word joyful. You don't want to fill the whole thing up, but a big border will help out later. Also, I think it's really cool when no two same colors are touching, so I try to keep my colors spread out. And the more ink you put on the paper, the more color you'll have to push around once we get to the water. This is what my heart looks like after coloring the borders of each piece. Now it's time to add water. I'm taking a little bit of water on my paintbrush, not a ton, and I'm just going to put some water on the border and drag the color down. This is why it's important to have washable markers. As you can see, our Sharpie isn't gonna move with it. You'll just add a little bit of water and move the colors around however you want. Keep adding water until you get it how you like it. Try not to add too much water or else your paper might start to peel up a little bit and get a little bit curly. Before you start on your light colors, make sure your brush is super clean and doesn't have any other colors on it, or else you'll be putting those dark colors onto your light ones. So now your heart is painted and it needs to dry. Some parts will definitely bleed into others, and that's kind of cool looking, I think. And now I get to show you how to make it all tie-dye, which is my favorite. This is the method I used when I painted this picture of my cat. I used a rainbow around him and lots of water to make it all cool and groovy. So for this, I'm gonna write the word mom in big letters and make the O into a heart, because we love mom. All right, so I drew the word mom with my Sharpie. Now I'm gonna fill in these 3 sections with different colors and swirl them together. So I'm just going to make a thick border inside the heart, and I'm not gonna make it all the way around the heart because we want it to be funky and lots of different colors that are swirled in. I also like to keep warm colors together and cool colors together because they typically blend a little bit better. And my lighter colors that I use, like yellow, I'm gonna put more of because I wanna make sure it's still seen. It's okay to overlap a little bit, but we don't wanna do too much or else it'll go murky and brown. And I'm going to use cool colors on the M's. So I'm pretty happy with those colors. Now this time we're gonna put a good bit more water on it. Your paper might start to get a little wonky, but after you're done, you can flatten it under a heavy book or something that has a lot of weight on it. And I am just gonna put a drop of water there. And a drop of water there, and then swish them around a little bit. For this part, you'll be dipping your brush in the water a lot more often to keep it clean and so your colors don't get murky. Just kind of slowly blend them all together by putting big drops of water. It's pretty neat when two drops of water connect. It becomes like a river and it pulls all the other colors in. I'm gonna fill it up, so we're just gonna drag around a little bit. Drag our green up here, get the purple involved, get the blue up in there. If you feel like there is just too much water sitting on one part of your paper, you can just dip your paper towel or your rag into it, and it'll suck up a lot of that water. It's pretty important to not pick this paper up after you've finished, because if it tilts, all the water is going to rush down and give you a big streak. Make sure you wash off your brush really, really well, because we don't want any cool colors mixing with the warm. Get some drops of water, stick them in the middle, and I like to work my way out and connect the water, makes it cool, blends the colors a little bit. Ooh, that was cool. And just kind of move it around. Ooh, cool. Now that I'm happy with my heart, I'm gonna move to my other M. Now that we've got some groovy art for Mom, we're gonna let it to dry. Don't touch it, don't move it, because we don't want it to shift or spill. Here's our heart after it has dried. I'm going to put the words, "My mom's heart is," ... then all of these things, then write a cute message or two on the sides. But if you want to, you could cut out your heart and glue it onto a piece of paper that's been folded in half and make your mom a card. And this is how our groovy tie-dye turned out. Here's what you'll need for your love jar. A jar or a box. I am recycling a mandarin orange jar and I took off the label. I'm going to be using acrylic paint to paint over the lid. So I have my paint, just a couple different paint brushes, a cup of water to rinse, and my trusty paint rag. For the inside of the jar, you're gonna need paper for the notes that you're gonna write, a marker or pencil, and some scissors. I'm gonna start by painting the lid. So we'll set that aside to dry. Because my mom likes flowers, I'm gonna paint some flowers up the sides. I'm starting with this teeny tiny brush and I'm painting on the stems. So there, I've added the stems. Now I'm gonna go through and add a tiny little bit of grass on the bottom. Little short strokes. So there's the grass and the stems about halfway around the jar. Now I'm gonna go around and add a couple of purple flowers. Just gonna do a lot of dots, almost like a bluebonnet. Then I'm going to make a big teal flower because my mom loves this color. So here is one side of our jar done. Look at that crazy rainbow flower. We're gonna let that dry and we're gonna work on the notes that go inside. So I have 4 pieces of construction paper. You can use any kind of paper you have, anything you want. So now that we have all of our love notes and gratitude notes written for our moms, fold up the notes and put them inside. And now that our jar is dry, we can start to fill it up. And there it is, a gratitude jar full of love. Remember, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. I had a ton of fun making all of these cool crafts for our moms. I hope your moms enjoy their presents and their cards. I'll see you next time.